The NHL Network, of course, dropped their annual top 20 rankings of each kind of position like they normally do every single season. And of course, earlier this week, they ended up listing their top 20 defensemen currently right now in the NHL. Their top 20 defensemen list of current NHL defensemen, the best ones. And on that list, they had the New York Rangers' number one defenseman in a very interesting spot, which I think has a lot of New York Rangers fans especially, but also just NHL fans, hockey fans in general, quite confused and kind of left a little shocked after where they had him placed in their top 20 ranking. So in today's video, of course, we're going to take a look at this ranking, see who is above Foxy, who's just behind him, and really just kind of try and understand this ranking here and kind of see what they're looking at here and why they have Foxy ranked so low, which, like I said, is quite shocking there and has a lot of fans quite kind of surprised with where he's placed, as I think over the last kind of at least few seasons there, if you are counting, not just this past season there, but the past couple at least, Foxy is undoubtedly a top 5, if not at least like top 6 or 7 defenseman in the entire NHL at least. So to me, I think this is a kind of wild ranking. So let's just get right into it here, and we'll start off by taking a look at the actual top 20 rankings here, where they have at number 20, Brock Faber, 19, Lane Hudson, number 18, Mikhail Sergachev, 17, Devon Toews, and then at number 16, of course, Adam Fox. But now, let's see which players are placed directly above Foxy, and you've got Shea Theodore at number 15, number 14, Thomas Harley, number 13, Jake Sanderson, number 12, Gustav Forsling, and number 11, Charlie McAvoy. And we'll take a look at the top 10 in a second here, but the players ranked just above Foxy, being Theodore, Harley, Sanderson, Forsling, and McAvoy. I think all of them, of course, are, very good defensemen and are, definitely capable of being, top 20 in the NHL. I don't have a problem necessarily with them being there, but above Foxy, that's where I really don't understand things there. I understand that, yes, this past season directly, Foxy did not play phenomenal. That's fine, and I get that. For his standards, he was not phenomenal. Was he still one of the best defensemen in the entire NHL? Yes, and that says something about how good Foxy truly is, because he did have a down season for his standards, and it still was a pretty great one overall compared to the average D-man in the league. But I think when you really take a look at it, no, you could probably say he's not a top 5 defenseman from this past season, of course, but he still was one of the better ones. And when you take a look at what he's done the previous, 3-4 seasons up until this past one that just happened in 2024-25, I think it goes to show that he has consistently been a very good, elite, top, kind of high-end defenseman. And we'll take a look at some of the kind of Norris Trophy rankings and the stats kind of back that up in a second, but I really would say that even though he didn't have a great season last one, I still think overall, unless you're just kind of factoring in solely this past season there, I don't see how you're having Theodore, Harley, Sanderson, Forsling, and McAvoy all above Foxy. To me, that seems a little outrageous. And now we'll take a look at that top 10, which of course does not include Foxy, and they have at number 10, Evan Bouchard, at number 9, Roman Josi, 8, Jacob Slavin, 7, Rasmus Dahlin, number 6, Josh Morrissey, 5, Victor Hedman, 4, Miro Heiskanen, 3, Zach Werenski, 2, Quinn Hughes, and number 1, Cale Makar. So I think for the most part there, a lot of these players are deserving of being in the top 10, but I think if you really are factoring in, not just this past season, but other previous ones as well, and they definitely are. It's not like they're just going off, just this past season. Otherwise, someone like a Roman Josi would have no chance of touching the top 10, let alone top 15, or probably even top 20. So I think when you really take a look at things here, to me, it is just straight up disrespect. There's nothing else to it. It doesn't make any logical sense to not have someone like a Foxy higher up on this list if you are accounting for not just this past season. Because like I said, someone like Roman Josi is a perfect example of someone who he himself did not have a good 2024-25 season, and for his standards, definitely took a pretty big step back. And overall, normally, Roman Josi is absolutely a, top 5, at least top 10 for sure, caliber defenseman. He's been one of the better ones in the entire NHL for feels like the last kind of decade or so now, right? But this past one, Roman Josi did not play good. He did not play like a top 10 caliber defenseman in the entire NHL. So to have him in the top 10 there, to me, absolutely, of course, says that they are going off of not just this past season. So that's where, to me, it really just seems like straight up disrespect to have someone like a Foxy not in the top 10. Because to me, over the last kind of 3, 4, 5 seasons now, since he's kind of won that Norris Trophy, he has consistently been one of the true best defensemen in the entire NHL, and the Norris Trophy voting only helps that kind of thought. In 2021, of course, he was first in Norris Trophy voting there, winning the Norris Trophy. In 2022, he finished fifth in voting there. In 2023, he finished second. In 2024, he finished fourth. And then this past season, his worst one so far, since he won the Norris, he ended up finishing 12th. So what out of those numbers says that he is not at least a top 15 caliber defenseman in the entire NHL? And I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't think, the voting every single season is absolutely perfect, but I think there's a clear kind of solid basis there showing that Foxy is consistently, quite up there in the Norris Trophy voting. So it seems like, there is a consensus of thinking that he has been consistently performing like a pretty much top 5 caliber defenseman for the last kind of, 4 or 5 seasons, whatever now. So like I said, it really is kind of shocking and quite disrespectful, I think, to someone like a Foxy with what he's done for this Rangers team and kind of how well he's been playing to not have him in that top 10, let alone top 15. And I really do think he should be at least in that kind of top 7 for sure. So it is kind of crazy, but let's take a look at some of the stats here because, this is someone who not only is a great offensive defenseman, right? He can put up near point per game numbers around that kind of, mark there. And, of course, quarterback a power play, but he can also, be that kind of top defenseman out there on the penalty kill unit as well and just be a really solid kind of shutdown defensive defenseman as well. So he's an all-around great defenseman. It's not like he's some terrible offensive guy and he's just some great shutdown defenseman, or he's some great offensive defenseman isn't a good shutdown guy. He is a great all-around player, which of course is very incredible for this Rangers team. But carrying on though, let's take a look at his actual kind of point totals here, kind of what he's had over the past few seasons in the regular season. This past one, of course, he had 61 points in 74 games played. Then he had 73 points in 72 games played. Then 72 points in 82 games played. Then 74 points in 78 games played. Then 47 points in 55 games played. And then 42 points in 70 games played in his rookie season. So consistently has been putting up around that kind of point per game numbers, except for really his rookie season where he still had 42 points in 70 games played, finishing second in the Calder Trophy race as a rookie, of course. And then in the playoffs, he has actually put up some pretty phenomenal numbers as well as a defenseman, where this past kind of most recent playoff run he's had back in 2023-24 didn't have his best run there. 8 assists, 8 points, 16 games played. But then in 2022-23, the first round exit of the Devils, had 8 assists for 8 points there in those 7 games played. Then back in 21-22, the run all the way to the conference finals against Tampa there where they lost in Game 6. He had 20 games played, 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 total points, so over a point per game as a defenseman. And then his first time in the playoffs there back in 2019-20, had 3 games played, no points. But overall, he's obviously been a very good defenseman offensively and defensively in the NHL for years and years now. He's been able to produce quite well offensively in the playoffs as well. Career-wise, has 39 points, 5 goals, 34 assists for 46 games played total. So that's not bad at all. Those are great numbers offensively. He's averaging around 25 minutes per night in the playoffs, so he's eating up a lot of ice time. He is just an incredible all-around defenseman. And to me, like I said, not having him in the top 10 is pretty disrespectful, but not even in the top 15 is an absolute joke. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video and hearing me kind of rant on about this. I try not to bring out too much of my bias, of course, because I am a diehard New York Rangers fan, but I did really want to make a video on this kind of topic here because to me, it is an absolute joke not to have Adam Fox, like I said, at least in that top 15. He should be in that top 10, 110%, but where he's kind of ranked in this list just to me makes absolutely no sense. So definitely don't forget to click that like and subscribe button though for daily New York Rangers content if you haven't already. And also definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on kind of where you would have Adam Fox ranked there and kind of what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my kind of take there? I'm thinking it's a little disrespectful where he's kind of placed there. Would you have him higher, lower? Let me know your thoughts on Adam Fox, kind of where he's placed in these rankings, where he is placed at number 16. I'll catch you in the next one, and let's go Rangers.